300,000 men have been mobilized in Russia for the war since the end of September 2022. Half of them, according to Putin, were sent to the troops. At least 75,000 were sent to the front line. At the end of December, Minister of Defense Shoigu announced the need to increase the size of the armed forces by a third.
Priority tasks for 2023 are to continue conducting a special military operation until the tasks are fully completed, to guarantee the solution of the tasks of ensuring the military security of the Russian Federation. It is necessary to increase the number of armed forces to 1.5 million military personnel.
To do this, Russia can begin the second wave of mobilization from January the 15th, and it can mobilize to the war against Ukraine up to 500,000 people, Ukrainian intelligence predicts. Information preparation of Russians has been carried out since the first days of the new year. The corresponding appeal was allegedly distributed by Russian soldiers' widows in social networks. We ask President, our Supreme Commander-in-Chief, to prohibit the departure of men of military age outside Russia, and we have every moral right to do so. Our husbands were killed defending men who stayed in the country, but who will protect us if these men will leave it? Soldiers' widows of Russia are for the great mobilization. Russia is for mobilization. This is our request, our decision, our demand, and we believe that the authorities will hear us. From the publication on the Telegram channel Soldiers' Widows of Russia. At the end of September, when the beginning of the first wave of mobilization was just announced in Russia, they promised to call up only those who had combat experience or a military specialty. But with the first summonses, it became clear that the criteria voiced by Sergei Shoigu were not being met. They took everyone in a row, even those who had no military experience. The military commissars do not pay attention to the state of health of the mobilized. Moreover, the mobilization affected the poor and remote from the capital regions the most, especially national republics.
Let's say the mobilization was announced, then, relatively speaking, residents of Moscow left. Or if we are talking about access to medicine, a man can be sick, but there are no medical institutions where a person will come and they will give him a certificate that the person is sick.
The highest rate of mobilization was in the Krasnoyarsk region. There, every 20th potential recruit for mobilization was called to the war. Kalmykia, Dagestan and Buryatia were also affected. In general, this is a manifestation of a colonial policy towards small nations. The feeling is that there is an attitude to people as in the colonies, where resources are pumped out, including human ones, but nothing comes in return. The new wave of mobilization will not differ much from the previous one, experts predict. Migrants and prisoners whose death at the front line will not cause mass protest will again be taken to the war. And again, military registration and enlistment offices will pick up even those who have not served and suffer from serious illnesses. But now it is not only the residents of the poorest regions and national republics of Russia who should be afraid of being mobilized.
If the Russian authorities decide to conduct the second wave of mobilization for war against Ukraine, the rates will be tougher, and the sub-bonus will be handed out mainly to residents of large cities, since quite a lot of people have already been mobilized in the regions. Jan Matveyev, Russian military analyst, on the talk show To The Point on Deutsche Welle.
According to various forecasts, Russia is already preparing to close the borders for men. This can happen at any time. The similar situation is happening in Belarus, which is the accomplice of the Kremlin in the war against Ukraine. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Natalia Husak, Volodymyr Штангелов, UATV News.